Welcome back, everybody, to some more Grand Tactician, the Civil War. It's the end of August of 1862 here in the Confederate campaign. If you are new to the campaign, you haven't seen it up to this point, there's a link in the description that will take you all the way back to episode 1. You can get caught up to how we got here. I do have one new patron unit to add, and I'll get to that in just a minute for you, TJ Russell. But first, I'm taking a look at policies because we're maxed out on policies, but there are certain things that I would like to get that currently are not available, because I've maxed out on the available policies. And only certain ones can be canceled over time. So there's certain ones that I would like to cancel, for example, impressment, the Impressment Act, but that's not one that's eligible. Some things just can't be undone once they're done. But what I'd like to be able to get is I'd like to be able to get Diplomacy 4. It's going to unlock some new weapons, also provide a boost to intervention. I'm really trying to get European intervention if I can. British is at 63. If we get to this policy here where we support Mexican intervention, that unlocks the ability to get French intervention in the war. So that's something I'd like to be able to do, but in order to do that, I'm going to have to backtrack on some other things. Industry is one of the only ones that I can do that with. So we're going to go ahead and cancel the Industry 1 policy, which is then going to unlock Diplomacy 4 as a possibility. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then we're going to go ahead and take a look at our military and see if we can recruit a new unit for TJ. All right, so TJ has requested a heavy artillery unit to be called the 12th Louisiana Heavy Artillery, and I do have available Louisiana troops. So we're going to go ahead and recruit them. And he mentioned that at one point they did have various kinds of guns, but one of the kinds that they had at one point was 24-pounders. So we're going to go ahead and give this unit the 24-pounder howitzers. They're going to go in Jackson's artillery division in his corps in the Army of Northern Virginia. And one of the things I love about all of the patrons who have been requesting units is a lot of you give me background. You have some connection to a unit. Either somebody in your family was in a specific unit, or the unit was from your hometown, or you served in a military unit that has part of its lineage back to that particular unit. So I love not only the requests and the support from the patrons, but also your passion for the reason why you chose that unit. So TJ gave me some background on that, and I thought it was worth sharing. 12th Louisiana Heavy Artillery. Historically, they manned Port Hudson and defended Vicksburg before the surrender. Before that, they were commanded under the Army of Northern Virginia, but didn't see action. They were led by Francis Paul de Gournay, which, boy, that's like just the perfect Louisiana name, isn't it? By the time he was ordered to man Port Hudson and did so effectively, the Union pulled back. Then they had to plan a major attack of 30,000 against a 4,000-man garrison. De Gournay is interesting himself. He was French by parents and birth. He lived in Cuba, helped manage his dad's sugarcane plantation. He left after a failed war of independence there, moved to New Orleans, then volunteered when Louisiana seceded and was called to arms. He ended up a POW after Vicksburg's fall, and after release and a special transfer, war ended soon after, where he returned to France. He then came back to the U.S. and became a vice consul to France. So really cool background. TJ, thank you for your support. Thank you for that cool story and that history, something I learned I did not know before. So let's go ahead and get them named properly. 12th Louisiana. We'll just say, hey, we can name the whole thing Heavy Artillery. We'll do it like that. Very cool. Let's dive into the campaign for today. Well, when we were last here, we had taken Washington, and then we defended against attacks against Washington. That fighting's going to continue for a while around Washington. I want to let you know a couple of updates while we wait to see what unfolds here, because I think we are going to see more combat. There are some additional updates coming in the next patch. You're going to see multiple saves now available, so you'll be able to do more than one campaign. So if you want to test some things out while playing your main campaign, you can absolutely do that. So that's exciting. There are also some changes coming to how they work the strategic points on maps, and just an update on what's happening. Let's take a look. Looks like there was a battle at Fort Stevens, but now we're actually getting into combat. An update for those of you who have been asking me about when I'll be doing the tutorial videos. If you're new to the channel, I have been asked to make the official tutorial videos for this game in the game. They have sent me the scripts for those. They're not word-for-word scripts. They're basically, hey, here's what we want you to cover in these videos. So I'm looking those over, preparing myself for those. They have asked me to kind of hold back on making the videos until the next patch that's coming because of the changes that are going to be made to the strategic map. But those will be coming soon, and hopefully those will be very helpful to folks in the game. And I'm grateful for that opportunity. All right, so it looks like this time we're going to have a big advantage in manpower going in. Now we have 8,800 wounded that are with us, but we still have 38,000 to the Union's 24,000. Let's see if he is getting reinforcements. First Corps, Fourth Corps, and Second Corps are going to be arriving. So massive reinforcements headed his way. I have Jackson's Corps arriving in 3 hours. So that's going to be the bulk of the Army of Northern Virginia, but not all of it. But this is going to be huge. The Battle of Baltimore, Maryland. It's going to be fought on the Gettysburg battlefield, which we haven't fought yet in this campaign on the Gettysburg battlefield, I don't think. No, we did once. The Battle of Harrisburg was fought here. So this is going to be interesting. We are coming up from the Union's historic position in the south. I don't know how far south they have come, but boy, it'd be nice to... Oh, he's already right here. He's at Seminary Ridge, so it's unlikely I'm going to be able to occupy. I would love to form a fishhook and take the Union's historic position, but that seems unlikely, so we might have to build ourselves a defensive position around Devil's Den, Little Round Top, down here in the south. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw Lee's cavalry division up first, see if we can rush them up into position to take Cemetery Hill. If we can do that, then we can kind of slowly start to move everybody else into position. This is the high ground here that during the actual Battle of Gettysburg, the Union position was basically like this. You had the Second Corps right here, and then you had the Third Corps to their left, and then the Fifth Corps down here. So Sickles moved from Cemetery Ridge, moved his Third Corps up here because this ground was actually slightly higher than Cemetery Ridge. And he had been in a previous situation in another battle where high ground had been taken in front of him and artillery had been placed there and his position had been shelled. And so with that experience in mind, he moved forward thinking that he would prevent that from happening again. But in the process, he put a big bulge in his line that kind of messed up the Union plans. So we may move up into that position with Ewell's division for now, while we wait and see where the Union's going to be in position. I want to get the artillery up in high ground as quickly as I can. So I'll move it up to here, and then I'll kind of start placing them after that. Let's get AP Hill up beyond that. I don't know where I want to go with them yet. I think maybe I'll go right here until I figure out what's going on. And then we'll take Raines' division up here to the right. And they can all go by separate roads. Okay, so this isn't going to work out the way I'd like it to. He is far further south than I thought he was. So it looks like Luke's cavalry is going to make first contact with the enemy. And they're going to do so right near the angle, which is the kind of the point of attack that Pickett's charge had during the historic battle. So we're going to have to alter all of our orders here. We'll move this artillery, and we'll get them right here on Cemetery Ridge. And we're going to have to get the Irish Dragoons up. I don't know why Luke's cavalry's... There we go. Who else we got here? Stuart Brigands. We'll bring them up on this side. We do have Raines' division coming in over here. We'll just alter their final destination. This one's going to be an interesting battle, I think. Alright, let's see how Armstrong's doing. Looks like Sickles' brigade's coming in at him. What a big surprise. Dan Sickles has the feud symbol. Of course, so does my unit here as well. Hey, and Luke's cavalry actually has an upgrade. We're going to go ahead and give them... Is it Stormers? Yeah. That's the one where they fight dismounted better. They've got the Sharps rifles. You can see they're causing major casualties to Sickles. Well, maybe not. There's a lot of dead laying there for that only being 17 dead. My understanding is that each one of those soldiers represents 40 men. I think it's 40. It's so it's a 1 to 40 ratio. So, you know, if you had a max brigade of 3,000 men, you'd be looking at 70 sprites. 23 12-pounder Napoleons here. That's really handy to have. Alright, so he's really kind of built his forces right here. Let's get Early's division under Hardy up here in a reserve capacity up in the center so they can relieve the cavalry. Because the cavalry is going to run out of ammo pretty quickly with those repeating rifles. Get Wolf over here on the right, or on the left. That artillery firing. There we go. Sickles is going to regret being out in front by himself like that. Battery G light artillery. Let's do it, boys. Yeah, Sickles is pulling back now. Alright. Union's getting a pretty substantial force into position, so we need to do the same with ours. It's going to take a little bit of time to do that. What's Jull's division doing? Oh, they're going up here. Those orders are good for now, I think. What are we waiting on? Why are my other cavalry units not getting into position where I asked them to? I want you to pull back, Scott. Stuart, I want you over here. And I want the Irish Dragoons, although they're going to get in the way of the artillery if I put them there. Don't take the roads, though. Go the most direct route. Alright, now we just need to build everybody in around them. Where's Rains coming in? Right here. Really super helpful if I could get my cavalry units to obey my orders. Be more helpful if the Irish Dragoons didn't go forward like that to go. Why are they not just I wanted you to go this way. I guess I gotta issue orders a little more specifically, like tell them come down here and then go there instead of taking the most direct route. Alright, Wolf, let's get you down here, please. Now that you've ridden right into the Union lines. That was my fault. I should have given those orders differently than I did. Union's getting into position on my left now, though, and I'm not getting there fast enough. And I'm not going to be able to get this high ground. Bernie's already there. Oh man, I really screwed the Irish Dragoons up by giving those orders the way I did. There. Ah, they broke. That was totally my fault. Every so often you still kind of learn something about what to do and what not to do. Like right now, I've got a real problem with this artillery. They've got skirmishers right up on them. Oh, we sent Hiram Berdan running. That's the, I wonder if they're sharpshooters on this game, because Berdan, that's what he commanded in real life. We're sharpshooters. Alright, let's take a look where we're at on numbers now. He hasn't received his reinforcements yet, I don't think. He's about to, though. So as I was mentioning, there is, in the upcoming patch, going to be a major change in how the objectives work. And I think it's a good one. I know not everybody's crazy about it, but it can be deactivated according to the developers. Right now, the victory points that you see on the map, they're nice to have, but they don't really seem to impact the battle in any significant way. That is about to change. The victory points, first of all, are not going to be things that you just automatically take the second you step on them. Looks like McDowell arrived with the first corps for the Union. They are going to have an impact on whether you can win the battle, and they're going to be things that you have to sit on for a little bit to take. But they're going to force combat, is what that means, because objective points are going to become necessary to winning the battle. So it's going to be important for me to move on an objective point and then defend and hold those objective points as part of the winning the battle. It's not just about meeting and crushing his army. And that, I think, is historically accurate, because there were times, I know for Grant in 1864 and 65, he basically told Meade, wherever Lee goes, there you go also, because he recognized the importance not just of taking Richmond, but also of destroying Lee's army. So it's not an either-or kind of thing, but a lot of times it was about taking strategic and holding strategic locations. So within the battle map, I like that idea, and like I said, it's an option that can be turned off when it's added in the upcoming patch. So we've got to get these divisions moving up. I don't know why I can't see them. There, they're finally moving. I don't know why this are. Oh, they're still pointed that way, because that's the way they had to point because of where the Union was. We got to be careful, because the first corps is coming. I don't know how many men they have. Let's take a look and see. Okay, so now that gives him even odds with me. And it gives him more guns. And he's still got 2 more corps on the way. However, I think I get the next reinforcements. Let's double check that. Yeah, I'm still 1 hour away with Jackson. Oh, he's getting 4th Corps and 2nd Corps in an hour. So this battle is about to get huge. So we're about to get Rains into position. I'm going to hold Hardy in reserve for now. Bringing Hill up on this side. And Ewell's division, I think, we're also going to go ahead and bring into reserve, because eventually we're going to have to pull this cavalry back. Get the Stuart Brigands dismounted. I'm still holding Scott in reserve. Man, there's a lot of blue dead on the field. Helps to have those repeating rifles. careful, the Armstrong's down to 24 rounds. They've been firing for quite a while, Luke's cavalry. And we got to watch, because I don't know where the first corps and then his other corps are going to come in. Why is LZ stopped? These guys are all kind of stopped at the moment. Let's go ahead and speed things up for a little bit. I'm not going to issue any more orders until everybody gets into position with their existing orders. We still have a 4-star general in charge of a brigade over here. The VMI cadets under Beauregard. Alright, let's take a look at the numbers. His second corps is about to arrive. So we've inflicted 2,500 casualties on infantry. 5 on his cavalry. He's inflicted 1,300 casualties on my cavalry. But overall, pretty good numbers so far. So now I'm going to go ahead and issue new orders to AP Hill, to his division. We're going to move them up to the high ground over here, see if we can get into their flank a little bit. And once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and move Hardy up into that spot. Looks like somebody just arrived. Sumner arrived. Berdan and Sickles withdrew. That's another full corps for him. That gets him up to 58,000 men, but we're about to see another corps arrive for us. In fact, they may have just done so. Jackson has arrived. Armstrong's low on ammunition. Let's pause for a second and refresh this. Okay, now we're up to 48,000 to his 58,000, but I think he's still got one more corps coming, the 4th corps, so we're going to be outnumbered. Alright, we're looking at the situation here. He just moved big time right into the center of my lines. I think Bernie's going to pay for that. So let's go ahead and advance Hardy's division. We're going to have to pull the cavalry back. In fact, I don't want them holding the center much longer anyway, so let's move Jull up into that spot and pull Lee's division back, and then I'm going to redeploy them out on my flanks. Did he actually surrender? Battery G light artillery of Captain Palmer, after heavy fighting, has surrendered to the enemy. Oh, he didn't have 37,000 men, so that's a bit of a mistake, but we just lost Battery G light artillery. They were sitting right here, and he charged down in with a brigade. And I was elsewhere looking at things on the map and didn't even pay attention, but I still had that battery way out in front. That kind of stinks. So we're moving Jackson in over here on the left. I don't know where his reinforcements are going to come in. That's part of the reason why I want to get my cavalry disengaged and get them into a scout capacity so I can start figuring out where the enemy is. Alright, let's take a look at the situation over on Longstreet's left. See how things are shaping up here. We've got the Super Duper Stormtroopers. They're kind of in a bad spot here because we've got the barns in the way. And we've got the New York Copperheads here. They haven't lost 1,000 men. They brought a lot of casualties into this fight with them. Pickett's over here. And then we've got the 4th Alabama Infantry here. I want to back up. It's just a little easier to see this way. We've got Winston and Rhodes right there. That's Pryor's Brigade, Rhodes' Brigade. Right here we've got Taylor, the 1st Armagh Irish, the 6th Alabama Infantry, Elzey's Brigade. Looks like we've just broken somebody on that side. So I'm getting my cavalry out of the way. I'm going to make sure that they're mounted. And then we're going to go ahead and start sending them out on scout duty. I just want to try and figure out where they're coming from. I think they're probably coming all from the north, so they're most likely going to come in behind him. I just want to make sure that I don't get myself in a situation where I get flanked somehow. So let's go ahead and send Baylor out, I don't know, over here to Wolf Hill. We'll take Luke's cavalry and maybe send them out even a little further over this way. I just want to guard against any flank attacks that might be coming at me. And then I'll keep some cavalry with me, Scott's brigade. And for now, we'll just kind of contain him here, I think. Taylor losing men. So let's be careful with that. See what the numbers look like now. Combat report. Overall, we've caused 6,300 casualties. Only lost 2,400. But a lot of that's because I had those that cavalry up front with their repeating rifles, and they did most of the killing, I think, early on. He's just going to sit tight now and wait for his reinforcements to come. All right. Jackson's corps is just about into their initial positions that I gave him. Looks like he's withdrawing a lot of his troops. We do have a problem over here, and that is that he has Nagel coming in on Wilcox's flank, so we're going to have to refuse this line if we can. It's not going to give me the option for that in the formation, so we'll just have to turn Wilcox. Hold it back a little bit over this way. I want to get super duper stormtroopers out in front of that building there. The nice thing is we're keeping units in reserve, so if we do have somebody break, we've got a place to put them. Nothing that I can see out here on this side, so I think we'll go ahead and start moving Jackson's corps forward. Let's get Johnson moved up. I'm going to bring the artillery in behind them. Move Smith's division. No, that's John Bell Hood's brigade. I want the whole division. Gustavus Smith, I'm going to put them up facing this way a little bit, just until we know what's going on. Oh, Nagel just charged into my line. Where's that cavalry? Alright, let's send Scott's brigade over here to help deal with this. Union's got a lot of feuding officers. Man, look at all that. All 5 of these units right here. It must be something about their commanding officer. No, because there's 3 more here too. This is what happens when the morale goes down. I think you start having more of that. I love the fact that we see the landmarks like the archway at the cemetery right here. Looks like he's starting to bring down some of those reinforcements. We're going to run into him over here too. And I did have, I think I have a division that I've got with orders to face that way. Yeah, that's going to actually work out perfectly. All right. How do the numbers look? 8,400 casualties for him, 3,700 for me. Where's that put strength? All right, pretty even. He's only got about 8,500 more men than me. I'm pretty content with that, especially because I've got a stronger position. let's pull Pemberton up here. Pemberton fighting in his home state. He's from Pennsylvania, but fighting for the South. Alright, looks like Richard Taylor broke. He was taking a lot of casualties. We gotta get super duper stormtroopers facing this way. Let's see what's going on down here. Alright, I'm gonna let the New York Copperheads have a rest because they've been pretty heavily engaged. And we're gonna move Jenkins with the 4th Alabama Infantry up ahead of them. Forno's in contact. Boy, that was a good guess on my part to send divisions up this way just in case. We got a couple of units, small units of cavalry here, Stewart and Wingo. I gotta get Hardy moved up this way. Men of Ruin are about to hit Iron Discipline level 2. Yeah, we're taking a lot of casualties though. Making sure all my artillery is still firing. They are. Okay, I think we're safe to send Johnson's division against the Union flank over here. Might be a way to turn the tide of this battle in our favor. Looks like Jeb Stuart's cavalry broke. Who's low on ammo? Scott. Right here. Slocum is out there by himself. Let's charge into them. We'll send Wilcox and Scott. See if we can cause a decisive action. I've still got Baylor's cavalry sitting out here on Wolf Hill. Stuart Brigands. I'm going to give them Vanguard. Oh, there's the Irish Brigade. Pickett, yeah, he's going to break. I had a feeling that was about to happen. We're coming in just in time. Sweets, Florida first. 24th Irish Volunteers. Stonewall Brigade, one of our few elite brigades. And Hampton's Brigade coming in on his flank. Drove Slocum off. That had the desired effect there. Alright, Scott. I'm just going to put you in a reserve capacity. What time is it? It's only 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We've got a while till we get to refit. Let's put Wilcox in behind this fence. Bring Elsie up to the front line. Elsie's about to get Iron Discipline too. Alright, we need to turn Jameson real quick if we can. I'm going to move the 4th Alabama Infantry over here. Surprise, surprise, Jameson. What are you going to do now? Alright, we just got to watch over here because he's got a pretty extended battle line, more than I can handle. Yeah, they're all firing. So what I may have to do here is actually split Johnson's division. Or if I want to press hard and turn these guys and then flip Johnson around to this side. That might be a way to do it too. Where are we at on numbers on the field? Alright, we're down to just 49,000 for him and 45,000 for me. Man, he's got double the guns that I have, though. I don't like that. Taylor withdrew for me. Bloody conflict for sure. There goes Dan Butterfield. He won the Medal of Honor in 1862 during the Peninsula Campaign, I believe. Wrote taps. He's buried at West Point. Got probably one. It might be the largest grave marker in the entire West Point cemetery. I can't remember seeing one that was bigger when I was there last year. All right, he's coming at me. So I'm going to go ahead and shift Wade Hampton over here. He's only got 800 men, but that 800 men might make the difference. We really need to push Jameson as quick as I can here. How many men's he got? He's got 1,800 men. We've got good melee with 2,300 men in Sweets, Florida first. We've got strong melee with the Irish Volunteers. I think we've got the numbers in our favor. Let's do it. Let's charge with both of those brigades. See if we can cause this to be a decisive engagement on this side. Definitely think there's going to have to be some reorganization of the army after this fight because we've had so many bloody conflicts lately. Some of my units are getting kind of small, and I think they probably need to be combined with others. They do reinforce on their own over time, but we don't have that kind of time right now because we're engaged in so many fights. Wow, they broke fast. They didn't even have a chance to stay engaged till the other unit got there. Alright. How about we send the Stonewall Brigade in as well? They've got excellent melee attack. That was the 24th Irish Volunteers. How about Johnson? Let's get you to rally these guys. Oh man, they broke too. That did not work out the way I hoped. I maybe was better off to shoot it out. Both of those brigades broke. That might have been a problem. I thought for sure that would go well. Hood losing men. Hood has fallen. Colonel Hood was killed at the head of his troops. His men are discouraged by the loss, and the morale of his brigade is determined with unbearable casualties. So we lost John Bell Hood on the Gettysburg battlefield in the Battle of Baltimore. Right here. Bernie withdrew. Okay. Man. Stonewall Brigade. So all three brigades that I sent charging into Jameson ended up breaking. That is unreal to me. I sent 6,000 or 7,000 men charging into those guys. And he didn't even lose that many. Johnson's demoralized. Hill's demoralized. Boy. This is not going as well as I'd hoped. I might have been just better off to just hang tight. Alright, let's bring the Junaluska Zouaves up. We'll run this side. Gotta get LZ pointed in the right direction. Although he's got Reynolds back there, so I can see why he's doing that. Oh, we got Wilcox cut off over here. This is not going well all of a sudden. Stewart withdrew. Pickett withdrew. Beauregard withdrew. A bunch of my center has just collapsed. I think we need to quit the field before I lose more. I mean, the numbers are still fairly even, but I just don't like how it's going. And we've caused 2-1 casualties, so we can kind of pull back and live to fight another day. This might cost us Washington, but honestly, that's not a huge deal. I'm pulling out. Okay. So, again, the casualties can be a little misleading because of the wounded that were brought in. I brought almost 9,000 wounded into that fight, and I think that counts that in these casualty numbers. So it's probably a little closer to 15,000 that I lost in the battle, and probably more like 25,000 that he lost. But you can see where that puts us in terms of the numbers. Man, that was costly, and I don't have the numbers to replace those guys. So I may be better off to pull back into Northern Virginia and just maybe fight a defensive battle for a little while I continue to make gains in the West, and then hope for European intervention. So let's take a look at the battle map before we wrap this episode up. The curious thing is that based on those numbers that are reported, the casualties are basically exactly what the Battle of Gettysburg was, 51,000. And I think those numbers, Confederate and Union, are pretty close. Just might be reversed. But yeah, General Taylor, Richard Taylor, who is the son of former President Zachary Taylor, disgraced. His unit broke pretty early on in the fighting in the center. But we're going to wrap it up right there. I just want to take a look at the strategic situation, especially in the West, before we do that. We're going to be pulling back and probably giving up Washington back to the enemy. Yeah, so in the East, we'll be probably giving up Washington. Yeah, he's still pretty East-heavy as far as his numbers go. So I guess it shouldn't be a surprise that I would struggle a little bit more in the East because of those numbers. Just, you know, he's just got such a massive force with the Army of the Potomac. But I am causing at least some of that to head west because of my threats there. Let's just take a look at that situation. We've got an army in Cincinnati. We've got one near Vincennes, Indiana. I used to work in Vincennes at a Walmart in the photo lab there. Actually, Richard Anderson has a perk available to him, so I think we're going to go with the flying column because that'll allow me to operate in enemy. Actually, you know what might be good here? Partisan brigades. No, what's the bushwhackers? That's what we want. Guerrilla warfare. Bushwhacking aims to attrit the enemy using ambushes against military forces and civilian targets with non-uniformed irregular cavalry. So we're going to be kind of bushwhacking our way through Indiana. Then over here, you can see we've kind of pulled back away from St. Louis. We're going to need to advance back ahead again. Who do we got here? Oh, that's the Fort Wyman garrison. I should have an army over here. Oh, they're up here. That's why. Our army's actually in Springfield. They're actually cut off at the moment from supply. So that might be an issue that we need to resolve. So we might have to pursue the Army of the Ohio, 14,000 strong, and cause a decisive engagement so he's not cutting off our supply. But that'll be for the next episode. Let me know your thoughts. Use the comment section below. Drop a like if you would, and we will see you again soon. Thanks for watching.